Hi everyone. So today we are going to continue with solving quadratics by factoring. So take a few minutes, pause the video, and factor these. Alright, so this topic is only really difficult if you're still struggling with factoring. So if that's the case, reach out, rewatch some videos. It's really important that you know how to factor. So the first one is a dots. So 100x squared, that's 10x times 10x. And 81 is 9 times 9. Plus and minus. That's it. Number 2, that's an MC chart. Right? There's 3 terms, nothing in front of x squared. So we are multiplying to negative 96, combining to 4. Let's see. It's 2 times 48. 3 times 32. 4 times 24. 5 doesn't work. 6 times 15. 15, that doesn't make sense. 6 times 16. 7 doesn't work. 8 times 12. Oop, 8 and 12. Alright, so our 8 is negative to give us a positive 4. So x minus 8, x plus 12. The next one's a slide because it looks like number 2, but there's a number in front, and we can't divide by it, right? So we are going to multiply. It's a multiply combine, but there's a little bit more work to it, right? So we're going to multiply to 24 combined to 10, right? So remember, we take the 8 and the 3 and we multiply them together. So what multiplies 24 combines to 10, 4 and 6. So we write 8x and 8x. We don't know where the 8x goes. And then plus 6 plus 4. And then we have an extra 8 in the problem. So then we divide by our GCF. So over here, we can divide by 4, which gives us 2x plus 1. And over here, we can divide by 2, which gives us 4x plus 3. And that's it. So it's like an MC chart, but a couple more steps. All right, this last one is just a regular GCF. So let's see, the GCF here, 25x. So we get 2x plus 3, parentheses, 25x on the outside. And that's our review of factoring. All right, how do we solve a quadratic equation? So we wrote this down last time, but we only wrote 3 steps instead of 4. After we wrote that down, we then included another step. We have to solve for 0. Solve so 0 is on one side of the equation. Because the whole idea here is we're using the 0 property. Solve so 0 is on one side of the equation. We're using the 0 property, so we need to have something equaling 0. If it doesn't equal 0, we can't solve it. All right, so once we have 0, then we factor. Set each factor equal to 0. And then we solve the linear equations. So solve for x. All right, so those are our steps. All right, so step 1, make sure 0's on one side. Is 0 on one side? It is. Step 2, factor it. So take a minute and factor. Pause the video. We are multiplying to negative 20 and combining to negative 8. That's 2 times 10, where the 10 is negative. So now we factored. That's step 2. So step 1, set it equal to 0. Step 2, we factor. Step 3, set each factor equal to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0. x minus 10 equals 0. And then step 4, solve for x. X plus 2 equals 0, so I minus 2 on both sides. X equals negative 2, plus 10 on both sides. X equals 10. That's it. All right, number 2. Again, it's already equal to 0, so factor. What kind of factoring is that? It's a dots, perfect squares, and subtraction. So I'm going to factor that, and I get x times x is x squared. 6 times 6 is 36. One's plus and one's minus. So I factored. I set each factor equal to 0. And then I solve. Minus 6 on both sides. Add 6 on both sides. And we are done. All right. Pause the video. Try these on your own. They are a little harder. All right. So, number 3. What kind of factoring is that? That is a GCF. This has a GCF of 7x. When I divide, I get 2x plus 3, parentheses, 7x on the outside. So now I'm setting each of those equal to 0. 7x equals 0. 2x plus 3 equals 0. How do I solve 7x equals 0? 7x means 7 times x. What's the opposite of times? We are dividing. Divide. 0 divided by 7 is 0. 0 divided by anything. If I have no pieces of candy, I can't divide the candy up to my friends, right? There's no candy for anybody, right? The second one, we are subtracting 3. Remember, you add and subtract first. So 2x equals negative 3, and then divide by 2. So x equals negative 3 over 2. I usually leave my answers, what's a 3, as fractions. If you really want to go decimal, you can. Please avoid it if it's a really gross decimal. Like this is nice, 1.5. If it's like 1/7 and so 0.14 blah blah blah, don't do that. Just leave it as a fraction. All right, number 4. What kind of factoring is this? Is this a slide? This is not a slide because we can divide by 5. Remember, you always want to try to divide. We have a GCF. So x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Now that's just a regular MC chart. We are multiplying to 6, combining to negative 5. So we have 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Which one is it? We're multiplying to a positive, so we end up adding. So negative 2, negative 3. This would give us negative 7. So we get x minus 2 times x minus 3 equals 0. Now remember, I did divide by 5, and usually what we do is we put that 5 on the outside. So now I want to set everything equal to 0. So I have x minus 2 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. Now some students try to set 5 equal to 0, but notice there's no x with it, right? You're not solving anything. Does 5 equal 0? No. So you kind of can just ignore that 5 that's out front. It doesn't really do anything. All right, so we're going to add 2 to both sides to solve. X equals 2. Add 3 to both sides to solve. X equals 3. And we are finished. All right, now the hard ones. This is the last slide, so try these on your own. Pause the video. I have faith in you. So now step 1, we need to subtract to get 0 on one side. So I'm going to minus 12 on both sides. 3x squared minus 5x minus 12. Remember, that 12 doesn't have an x in it, so it can't combine with anything. So we're just rewriting it. Now, can we divide by 3? No. So we are going to do the slide method. So we have two numbers, right? We have to multiply the 3 and the negative 12. That's negative 36 and negative 5, combined to negative 5. What multiplies to negative 36? Let's see. 2 and 18. 3 and 12. Ooh, 4 and 9. And since we're combining to negative 5, it's negative 9. So then we get our 3x plus 4, 3x minus 9. Divide out our GCF. So 3x plus 4 doesn't have a GCF, but this one does. So this one's a lot more work, right? So we get x minus 3. Now I'm going to set each of these equal to 0. Running out of space. Set each factor equal to 0. The one on the right's nice and easy. The one on the left, subtract 4. Divide by 3. So x equals negative 4/3. I had to write really little there. All right, last one, number 6. Get 0 on one side, factor, and solve. Pause the video, try it on your own. All right, so I am going to subtract 36. You could subtract the 20 also. I like to keep my x squared positive. I don't like it when x squared's negative. It makes things more complicated. So I always move the thing with just the x. All right, what kind of factoring is this? This is a GCF. 36 is a perfect square, but 20 isn't, and there's x's everywhere. So let's figure out, what's our GCF here? 2, definitely. 4, does anything bigger than 4 go into there? I think it's 4. So 4 and then x. When I divide, I get 5x minus 9, parentheses, 4x on the outside. Set each factor equal to 0. Divide by 4. X is 0. X is 0. Add 9. Divide by 5. And that's our answer. We are done. All right, honestly, it's just practice. Done. Nothing else for me to teach you. You get everything on one side, you factor, you solve. All right? You can do it. Have a fabulous day, guys.